Okay, let's move on to just checking the list. So the next one would be Pose. Now, you
Mm.
never watch Pose. I do recommend it. I think they got to 3 seasons. It's a little bit of a time commitment. And it's about, it's captures the same moment. I've never seen it, but is Paris burning? Uh, a moment that led to voguing and all of that with the clubs. And I guess basically a lot of, I don't know, some of them are transgendered um, men, and some of them aren't totally transgendered. I'm gonna, probably the less I say about this, the less I'll show my ignorance about this matters like these. But it's just a great period piece. AIDS is in the backdrop. Um, Performances, many good performances. I think the guy who ran most of the balls, he really got a lot of attention. Maybe won a couple of Emmys. I can't think of the I should know it actor's name. He plays Pray Tell on it. It's Billy somebody, who ends up dying in the very last episode. And there is so much music in it. I didn't even, obviously it takes place during, drag balls. So you've got the list. I'll just take it right from the book that I assembled. Club Nouveau's Rumors, Alexander O'Neill and Sherelle's Saturday Love, Lisa Lisa's Head to Toe, Janet Jackson's Let's Wait a While, the Jets, Crush on You and Make It Real. Isn't one of those songs big for you, Make It Real? Or Your New Shoes, sorry.
No, I think I liked that Jet song at
Okay.
the time. I mean, I don't know how well it holds up, but it was one of those kind of ballads that I did like back then. So
Gloria Estefan's Anything for You, Inner City's Good Life, which I used to love, Expose's Point of No Return, Sweet Sensations, Hooked on You, Jody Watley's Looking for New Love, on and on. Like when I checked what song, the first episode had 22 songs.
wow.
So there's always good music throughout the show. And before I talk about the song that I did pick, I really wish I'd paid more attention to this when I was looking at that entry. Right at the end, I said, in brackets, I said, Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill takes on special significance. It
Mm.
used Running Up That Hill a couple of years before Stranger Things. So I
Wow.
went online to see if I could get that scene. And it was literally right before we started this. So I didn't get to look at the whole thing. But it is online and it looks really interesting. It's where Angel, one of the main characters, she's kind of found this guy who becomes an important subplot in the first season. But sorry, I just got it up here. I'll just tell you at the end, I've got it on a freeze frame where she's sitting there with him and the song Running Up the Hill is playing. And she looks at him and she says, this song is going to be our song from now on. And then earlier, he worked for Donald Trump. And she's asking him about, it must be great to work for Trump. And they're
Wow.
talking about that stuff.
Wow.
So I should have looked at that scene because that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I guess at some point, when we do Stranger Things, we can talk about the Kate Bush, what happened with that.
Mm.
The song I chose, though, really had nothing to do with the main thrust of the music in it. Just a scene I loved. It was the opening to the final episode of the first season. And there's kind of two main characters, just to refresh my memory. One of them is Electra Abundance, who's this real kind of domineering. She's really mean to a lot of people. Very sarcastic and all of that, and a total diva. She really plays that to the hilt. But we see her at her low point, like her absolute low point. And I always, whenever this turns up in a movie where somebody bottoms it out, I always call it I always think of the Magnificent Ambersons and the comeuppance moment. And that Orson Welles, or not Orson Welles, but Tim Holt is Amberson's son. Just his whole world falls apart. And there's this moment where you hear Wells saying he got his comeuppance times 10. And that happens in a lot of movies. So in this scene, Electra Abundance, her lover had been, she wanted to go through with a sex change, become totally transgender. And her lover was not discouraging her, just said, no, you can't. I don't want you to do it. And she went against his wishes, and he just dropped her altogether. She lost her her house and the balls. Everybody deserted her. She lost her apartment, or she was living with him. She lost that, and now she's working at a Times Square peep show. And Holding Back the Years started up right at the beginning of the episode, which I used to love then. It still sounds great to me. As I mentioned, it just, that song has no critical standing whatsoever. I don't know why it got to me then. I still like it a lot. And it sort of takes you through how miserable her life's become in a 2-minute collage. A lot of it's set inside the peep show where she's working at, and you get this repeated image of guys putting in quarters into the slot. It sort of recalls, if you know the film Paris, Texas, it's kind of place Nastasia Kinski works in. And then she's sitting alone in restaurants. At one point, she's sleeping on a park bench. And that song is so sad. It just captures that perfectly, of her having her complete world fall apart. And it has this great ending where, or when the song ends, where I guess once you pay your money, something comes up and you're now seeing her through the window. And it's Blanca, who's one of the show's 2 or 3 main characters, who used to be in Electra's house, but got basically bullied out of it by her, I think. And she went off and started her own house. But she's sort of the heroine of the whole show. She's just very thoughtful and always does the right thing. And she's come to, rescue Electra. And it's quite moving. It really is. That clip itself, there was other good music in it, but that was the highlight for me. It never got any better than that.